So we get asked a lot about cheaper strollers, sometimes really cheap. And despite having dealt with different ways of saving cash or how to get good deals when buying strollers in the past, we decided today to answer the following question. Can you get a decent stroller for $100? Searching $100 strollers on Google yields a lot of lists with affiliate links, mostly packed with umbrella models, off-brand ultra compacts, or bare bones forward-seating only mid-sizers. And while some of the manufacturers may be recognizable, like Graco, Chico, or Baby Trend, there's not a single, well-made model to put the names among all of them to. Rather, they're recognizable instead, only because there are so many of them out there. They're the budget line kings, the bottom-feeding brands, unique in name only, and owned generally by giant conglomerates like Dorel Industries or Wonderland Nursery Goods, who often have more than one baby gear brand out there, but keep the bad quality budget stuff separate from their slightly pricier names so the cheap won't rub off. And so then, looking at these listings as the most available offerings, the question first becomes, are any of these strollers, or the dozens of other models out there that seem identical to them, actually worth it? And the short answer is no. No way. In a moment, I'll explain how you can get a decent stroller for cheap, but it's not these models. From my experience repairing strollers over the past decade, there are simply too many corners cut with regards to design, manufacturing, and materials. Cheap riveting that leads to looseness and symmetry issues, front wheels that wobble or are hair-pullingly frustrating to steer, brakes that seize up or even worse, fail to engage, fragile, ill-fitted folding mechanisms that break, weak plastic that bends and warps and loses tensile strength, bad wheels with no grip and often no ball bearings, canopies that are too short to keep the sun out or too weak to stay open, and seats with uncomfortable positions or harnesses that will keep your toddler complaining constantly while you struggle to get your rickety model over seemingly smooth enough sidewalks that it's clearly not made to handle. Strollers like this are just headaches. Trust me, I've seen it hundreds of times with customers, viewers, and patrons, and trying to save money this way in my experience, 9 times out of 10, won't get you anything more than a $100 tax for trying, 6 months down the road, when you're forced to buy a better model. So how can you get a decent stroller for $100 then? It's actually easier than you might think. In fact, if you're willing to spend a little time and effort, you can not only get a good stroller both cheaper and significantly better than these trash models, but you can sometimes get a stroller that's even better than models sold at the top of the market, and help save the environment while you're at it. And that's simply by buying a great stroller second-hand instead. Now I know what you're thinking. What about wear? What if it's got cooties? What if I wind up with a lemon? Well, that's where the effort part comes in. But the payoff is worth it, I promise. You do need to assess wear. You can wash off any cooties. And if there are any larger mechanical issues, then you do want to know how far you're willing to go to fix them ahead of time. But know from the outset a couple of things. Firstly, that in comparison to a budget model that may last a year, if you're lucky, strollers from better brands will often last, without repairs, for multiple children. And on top of this, they're generally designed to be fixable. That's just the base result of caring more about those areas that budget models skimp on: better design, better materials, and better manufacturing. And secondly, and it's really important to understand this one in my opinion, strollers are not just getting better all the time. This isn't the tech industry where you can be basically 100% positive that a phone that came out this year is better than the one last year. We're talking strollers, a seat with wheels and a handle. And I can tell you, from watching the market change for going on 2 decades at this point, that there are dozens of models that have been discontinued and thus can only be bought used that are straight up better than what's available now, across the board. Heck, there are even current model lines with past iterations of the same model where the earlier versions are better. In any case, we hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, we ask that you subscribe, as it helps us to continue making videos in the future. On our channel, you'll find many reviews of excellent strollers to buy used, as well as a lot of tutorials for repairing and refurbishing, and I've added links to several of these in the description. In addition, if you would like to support us or need a bit of advice on what to buy or how to repair anything in particular, we have a Patreon page where you can get in touch with us. You can find it by following the link in the description. Thank you.